Good evening. Welcome to my vidcast for those of you that aren't at reInvent right now, which is happening as I'm recording. Sadly, I am not there. But tonight we're going to talk about a service for audio apps called Talestreamer. This is available on both Amazon Alexa and Google Home. Brought to you by the guy who did The Magic Door. If you haven't played The Magic Door, it's a narrative fiction piece that has several stories, and it uses kind of what I was talking about in the previous vidcast, so sort of a method of Loki. Sort of you go into a setting, you explore the setting a bit to find the start of your story. So, and then it reads you a story. It's comparable. They've taken a bit of a different approach. If you get, like, for example, Earplay, which is another one with narrative fiction, uses very high production value voice actors to do the whole, and it's really just like a radio play. The Magic Door isn't quite as high end as that. They use generated voices, and I think Andy Huntwork is the guy who's behind that. And he started off with using Amazon Polly because it's a lot cheaper than voice actors, and to do a bunch of stuff. And what he's done now is he's made the engine that powers that available as a service to other people who want to develop with skills. I've used this in Six Swords, and I showed a little bit of that last week when I was talking about a method of Loki. I can just do a quick demo now, and what you'll be listening for is that there's a different accent to the voice, and that you get some bit of background noise going on there. So let's start. This is with Google Home, but it works just as well on Amazon Alexa. Okay, Google, open Six Swords.
I can't find your Wi-Fi network. You can reconnect to Wi-Fi from your Google Home app under Devices, then Setup.
Well, it worked when I demoed it, when I tested it a couple of minutes ago. Oh dear. All right, well, we'll skip the live demo and move on to discussing some of the features of Talestreamer. And you know this is live. So, like I said, it's mostly based on Amazon Polly, and you know he does a bunch of other magic behind the scenes as well like that. But from that, you get the features of Amazon Polly. So you get like 18 different languages, a total of 52 voices. Well, you know, if you're just doing English, there's a lot fewer in English, and most of the languages only have one or two. So just putting a little bit of a wrapper around that 52 voices number there like that. But what's interesting, you see, is that it wraps it all into one big sound file. So different platforms have different limitations on the number of like MP3s you can embed. Well, because this puts it all together into a single MP3, you get around those limitations. So if you want to have multiple sound files, you can even just use it for that. We'll stream them all together into one thing. And there's a bunch of different effects and stuff like that you can do with them. So let me pull up and play one of his demos, which is pre-recorded, so I know that it can work, just to give you a sort of an inkling of what it kind of can sound like.
Welcome to Talestreamer by The Magic Door.
So there's recorded audio.
You can add audible personality, branding, and emotion to your voice bot using Talestreamer. We're all here to help. Let's get started.
And a tail voice at the end. So there's a number of things going on there. It's kind of interesting. You can switch between different accents. So it's very handy for narrative fiction where you've got different people speaking. Instead of all the he said, he said, she said, and all that sort of thing, you can use different accents to convey that and thus, you know, save some verbiage, which is extremely important when you're doing an audio app. So that's kind of nifty there. You could hear that there's the static audio that you can always include, but you've also got that thing where you've got the sound going on in the background. Okay, that's something you can't do with straight up SSML, and that is really handy. Okay, I had wished to show you. Let's try it one more time. Okay, Google, talk to Six Swords.
I didn't catch what you said. Try repeating or say help.
Look.
This coral temple is carved with horses and is holy to the god of the ocean. South leads to High Street. North of you lies Healing Pool. At the end of this message you will hear this short tone.
Going on there.
This means that you can say more for additional info. Try it now.
Go south.
You are on High Street, the main eastern street of the town. East and west of you lies High Street. North of you lies Temple of Neptune. South leads to Shield's shop.
East.
You are on High Street, the main eastern street of the town. To the north you can see Bardic College. East and west of you lies High Street. South of you lies Armor's shop.
North.
Singing resonates through these halls as voices are trained in all sorts of feats. West of you lies Speed. You can see High Street to the south. East of you lies Pitch. North leads to Accent.
West.
The rooms off of this hall will train the speed at which you speak. To the east you can see Bardic College. North of you lies Faster. You can see Slower to the south. You can see Reset to the west.
North.
You now speak faster. The rooms off of this hall will train the speed at which you speak. East of you lies Bardic College. To the north you can see Faster. To the south you can see Slower. West of you lies Reset.
Exit. That was enough of that. Okay, but you kind of see how it can be used in something. When they mostly what you saw there was different background noises. Okay, just to give a bit of ambience. You don't want to make those too loud because then it kind of overwhelms what you're doing or whatever. Unfortunately, it stops playing when it stops speaking. It would be really lovely if it continued on while it was listening for your next thing, but that's a limitation on the platforms. It's like if it's playing it to you, it's not listening, so you'd have to wait for a bit. Now, I pad it a little bit. I do like a little extra half second before and afterwards, so you get a little more of the ambient noise. But that's just atmospherics there like that. Now, you could also see that when I went into the Bardic College, which is my in-game way that the user can manipulate the voice. Last week I showed you picking an accent. Well, I went into the west this time and went to the speed and sped up the voice, and it spoke faster. Okay. In addition to all of these different, voices, 52 voices, whatever, you can also make them go faster or slower. Okay, you can also increase the pitch and decrease the pitch. There's total 5 speed settings, 5 pitch settings. Sounds nice, but once you get away from really close to the middle, it's not very good. So you can use these to add a little more variety. So, if you have like 5 male voices, 5 US English males voices, you can add a little more variety by playing with those a little bit. So if you have a lot of cast of characters in your narrative thing, you can do it like that. That wasn't showing the multiple voices at one time. You heard a little bit of that on his demo there. What's particularly interesting is you can not just do multiple accents, but multiple languages. Let me play another one of Andy's clips, which really shows that off, which is kind of cool. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Alexa. こんにちは。私の名前はアレクサです。
Hi, my name is Alexa.
Hallo, mein Name ist Alexa.
Hi, my name is Alexa.
So you got a bunch of different languages there. And you can even do languages that aren't supported. This is nothing. It's not using Alexa's or Google Home's speech to text. It's using Polly. And again, Andy is integrating to other services too. So, it'll just go up the number of languages support. So you could do Russian or Polish or any of the supported language. Not Irish yet, unfortunately. I have some use cases for that, however. But you can do these other languages. So if you wanted to do a language learning thing, but you couldn't, there's a couple of these out there, but A, they can't hear you in that language, and B, it's really bad at pronouncing it, and then you'd have to go to voice clips, and that's limitations there, etc., like this. But you can do multiple languages. That is pretty cool. I'd really like to do Dwarvish, but they don't have that. So that's kind of nifty to do with that. Now, another point about the audio clips you can insert is you can also modify, because, on the back end, Andy's streaming all this stuff together. He's done the work of merging MP3s together. I mean, just front-ending Poly, that's not rocket science. You know, he saves you a bit of time, but you know, it's doable. But it's all the sort of wizardry of merging MP3 files together, which is a pain. Like most of the libraries are in like C++, and they're like DLLs, and you know, getting that together into web services. You know, it's not rocket science, but it's a pain in the neck, and you know, they've already done the work. That's handy. So, but you can do things like you have certain ways you can modify. You can change the loudness, like for the background noise. You probably want that a little quieter, so you can like tone that down. You can change the relative noises of the other things. You can clip your sound bite. So if you have a really long sound bite, you can do this bit or this bit or this bit or whatever way you want to convey it, like that. He does not yet have fade in and fade out. I've talked to him about that, and it's on his list of things to do, and that actually makes for a lot of other really cool stuff, and I'd actually be kind of keen on using that. Not there yet, but I don't think it's that hard to do, so I suspect he'll have it pretty soon. So that's something you could probably plan for. So that's what's kind of nifty about that. So a lot of the features, you know, we demonstrated a bit about how it can be used inside of an app. Now, to the nitty-gritty of how do you use this in development of an app? Well, there's two basic ways. The first way is, you know, it really depends on whether you have static content or dynamic content. Okay, something like a narrative fiction work, that's mostly static. You kind of know all the different paths the story can go. You know what it can be said, and that's it. So you just really need the canned text-to-speech. For that, you do it offline. Okay, he's got it on his site. You subscribe to the site. You log in. You get a little editor. He's got his own markup language. If you understand SSML, you understand his language. It's XML. It's not very different. In fact, you can even stick SSML into the middle of it, and it's just fine. But you compose it all and everything, and you hit a button, and you hear it. You can decide what voices, you know. That, again, you can mark up in the XML to say what voices you want where, which speaker is speaking this, and the other. And you can, when you're happy, you can download it as an MP3. So you now have that static content. You put it in your site. You refer to that site for your static content. It's you're in control. You do it all. You don't have to worry about voice actors, etc., like that. And we'll get to the pricing in a minute, but it's a very attractive price point. So that's the way to do it statically. Now, for some things like Six Swords, you couldn't do that. I mean, you're going around, you're fighting monsters, all sorts of different things happen. You can't make it static. It has to be dynamic. Well, he has that service too. In that case, what you do is you assemble together your little TSML. That's what he has, a Talestreamer markup language. You assemble that just like you would normally assemble your SSML. And what you do is you call his REST service. Okay, then he makes available. And you send it the TSML, and it sends you back a little tiny chunk of SSML, okay, which is pretty much an audio tag that points to his web server where in the background he's gone off and taken your SSML, done all the magic, made an MP3 out of it, and put it up on the web. So your little link, you pass that back to Alexa or Google Home, and it sends it to the user. The user then streams it off of his server. Okay, so it's, you know, all did it like that, and it will stay there for I think 15 minutes. So there's plenty of time. And you get it immediately, and it can be whatever you want. So, and you know, that's really simple and easy to integrate. It's pretty fast. I'm getting responses of end-to-end 150 milliseconds. Okay, that's for Six Swords. Six Swords is 100,000 lines of code. Okay, it's probably the biggest app for either Alexa or Google Home. Okay, I don't think I've seen anything that has that much behind it. So there's a lot going on there, and whenever you make a call, there's a lot of stuff on the call stack. But 150 milliseconds is nothing. Okay, and again, maybe about 100 of that is Talestreamer. I think when I don't have Talestreamer there, it's down to 15, 20 milliseconds, sometimes 9 milliseconds. I got a lot of optimization in there. But again, a tenth of a second is nothing. Okay, in audio, because the person's sitting there waiting, and that's fine. I mean, we're talking about a massive web server maybe, but for an audio app, that's fine. So it's easy to integrate in without a lot of latency. So and it was super easy in my code. I mean, it's just like you're already doing a web service. A lot of people have things that call other REST services for APIs. This is just another one you call, and you get back stuff. You put it right into there, off it goes. So it's really super easy to use. It has a lot of these sort of interesting sort of features. So the $10,000 question: how much? there's sort of 3 ways you can use this. You can sign up for Talestreamer and you get a fairly generous free tier. It's like something like 200 transactions that you get for free. So again, you could, if you've got a relatively small money, you can do it there and probably get all your static content in just the free tier if you really want to. But beyond that, going up to the basic tier, okay, it's comes out to, let's see, I'll scribble this down here somewhere. Essentially it's a penny a transaction. I mean, which is nothing. Which is why even if you use the free tier, pay the guy. I mean, you did good work. You're using it. It's not going to break the bank. It's within the budget for most skills, i.e., nothing. So, boom, it's nice. Adds a bunch of interesting variety. Going for that contest makes it a little more interesting. Gives the users something they're not used to hearing. Definitely worth doing. If you're going full hog, like something like Six Swords, it's waves of stuff there. It needs dynamic, tons of stuff there. Like there is a pro tier, which gets even cheaper. But again, this is where Six Swords clocks up a lot of transactions. Okay, so it's a little more than both Andy and I thought. We're doing it on a trial basis now. Again, that factors into you're going to want a revenue stream. It's not expensive. Okay, which means you only need a little bit of a revenue stream. But you probably do want something. I mean, I'm not sure I can afford to pay out of pocket for the amount that Six Swords uses. But Six Swords is a very big, very intensive app. I got some people who play it for hours a day, so that most skills aren't up to that caliber. So check it out. Look at your own rate. You can work it out from that. You can also do inventive things. I mean, we did this in Six Swords. Like you saw, there's a bard at college. It's not on by accident. You kind of have to discover it. So it's like within the game, sort of thing like that. And then you can do things like that. Or if you want to get into the whole, if you go back to the monetization talks I did and you want to go to a premium, freemium type tier, that's a sort of thing you could offer. You could give it to people on a limited basis and then say, hey, if you like that, go over here and give us your money and we'll give it to you all the time. I don't know. Different ways to pay for it. Depends on your budget, etc., etc. So that's Talestreamer. It's a way to add very interesting audio interest to your skills, how people feel about it, stuff like that. It's not all that expensive, pretty cool, pretty easy to use. So I definitely recommend you check it out. It's talestreamer.ai is the website. I'll stick it into the comments section like that. If you've already used it, please add your how you feel about it to the comments. Andy's very good about feedback. If you'd like to see him add more to it, talk to him. He's very approachable. He's in the Slack channel. He's not there as often as I am, but very few people are there as often as I am. But he's pretty responsive. Great guy. Happy to help you. So that's Talestreamer. Have fun with it.